Revenge films.
My name is Michelle. I'm 25 years old. I got married about 1 year ago to my husband, Kevin, and I live together with Kevin and his mother at his family home. I don't have any children. My husband, Kevin, was 10 years older than me, and we actually met for the very first time at a singles party in our hometown. At the time, I was still quite naive, and I was also in a rush to get married and feeling pressured that I wasn't able to meet anybody. And that's why, when I met Kevin and he told me that he owned a business, I completely fell victim to his words. He seems like he had a nice personality, and more than anything, he was older, and he looked like he also had money. That became the deciding factor, and when Kevin asked me out, I happily said yes, and we started dating. However, not long after we started dating, I came to learn that the company that Kevin owned was actually a teeny tiny caterer that was in the outskirts of town. Even though he said he was a CEO and business owner, it was only a title that he had. In reality, his mother was doing everything in regards to the business, and Kevin didn't have any rights or power in this business at all. And this mother of his was quite the harsh, strict woman, and she was terrifying. Before Kevin and I got married, I went over to visit his family house a number of times, but every single time I did, she would have something to say about my manners or that I was doing something wrong. And she was endlessly lecturing me about what I need to fix and what I need to do if I was going to marry into her family. When I think about that now, I really wish that I had listened to my gut back then, and I am full of regret that I went along with it. And that's because as soon as I got married to Kevin, his mother started using me in every way, like her own personal slave. Before I got married, I was working as a preschool teacher, and I loved my job. But when I got married, I resigned to marry into Kevin's family, and I moved into his mother's house to live there with the two of them. However, from the very first day that I moved in, it was already hell.
How late do you think you're going to sleep in? You need to hurry up and get up. Get dressed. We have a lot of prep to do for today's order. Now, get to it.
I was shaken awake by her loud voice at 4 o'clock in the morning. The night before, she hadn't told me anything about waking up at that time. And first of all, she hadn't explained anything about the work to me either. I was lost and confused, and yet it was a hurricane of insults from her.
I can't believe that you would sleep in from your very first day of work. What a lazy little girl you are. Ugh, no, that's not how you do this. Have you never even cooked before? How can you be so useless?
You're new, aren't you? I heard you married into the family. Are you going to be okay? What? Am I going to be okay? What do you mean by that? But then the elderly lady that worked there then told me the most shocking thing. I'm actually going to be quitting. Today is my last day here. So that means that you're going to be here by yourself from now on. According to what the lady told me, apparently this company was an unbelievably terrible working environment. And even when they would be able to hire somebody new, they wouldn't last long at all. And so, until now, they've been making it work with Kevin, my mother-in-law, and this lady. However, the elderly lady had fallen ill, and she went to put in her resignation, but Kevin's mother demanded her to stay until they were able to find a replacement. That's why she was staying here and working hard until I came into the picture. When I heard that, everything suddenly made sense to me. Ever since we first started dating, Kevin was always in a huge rush to get married, and he was extremely insistent about living with his mother and refused to budge on it. They must have scoped me out as a source of labor from the very beginning. The situation was way too much, so I tried to complain to Kevin, but he only came up with excuses, defending his mother, and the conversation was pointless. In the end, the conclusion was that I would help out until they were able to find somebody new. But it was obvious that my mother-in-law wasn't even trying to find a new employee after they've got me. And after all that, from that day forward, they used me like a slave every day without giving me a single day off. When I got married, I was thinking about getting a part-time job with short working hours so that I could earn some money that I could use freely. But I didn't have any time for that whatsoever. Instead, I was being worked from early morning late into the night without any breaks or days off, and I was really being treated like a slave. I tried to speak to my mother-in-law about it, but I wanted at least a small salary for working there, but she became furious with me.
Don't you realize that marriage is a labor contract? You married into this family, so this is all a given. Who do you think you are asking for money?
And she refused to let me have any say. As days like this went on for about a year, by that point, my unhappiness exploded. I can't take this anymore. I've had enough of this life.
Come on, like I said, you only have to do this until we can find a new person. If you don't work for us, then it's going to put our entire family business in trouble too.
That's what you keep saying, but you're not even trying to look for a new person, are you? That's it. I've had enough. I lost my temper at that point, and I proceeded to gather up all of my belongings on the spot and ran out the door. I decided to go back to my family home. My parents had actually passed away a couple of years before already, but the house that they were living in was still standing, so I decided to go back there. I finally felt like I had some peace. However, that was disrupted when a few days later, Kevin and his mother came barging into my house together.
Are you kidding me? Do you think that you can run away from this? You need to hurry up and come back and get to work. What do you think you're doing?
She came in with so much force that, to be honest, I was really shocked. If I was there by myself, it was very possible that I may have lost to my mother-in-law's pressure and been dragged back with them. However, the person that came to my rescue at that moment was my little brother, Jonathan. Jonathan was studying to become a lawyer, and he was actually a law major at a very famous university nearby, going to school from this house. When my mother-in-law came at me, he dealt with her very well for me.
Sorry, what's your problem? Barging into our house all of a sudden like that?
What do you mean, what is the problem? This idiot left all her work and ran away from her duties. That's why we're here.
From what I've heard, it seems that you were using my big sister under quite the working conditions, weren't you?
And what about it? Marriage is a labor contract. Although I'm sure for a little kid like you probably wouldn't understand that yet.
My mother-in-law was looking down on Jonathan and completely underestimating him, thinking he was just some stupid little kid. However, at that moment, there was a sparkle in Jonathan's eyes as he calmly responded.
After making her work that much, surely you're paying her proper wages, right?
What are you talking about? She married into this family, so of course she should be working for free. It's a family business.
But you said it yourself, didn't you? That marriage is a labor contract?
That's exactly what I said. She's the wife, and she married into this family, so it's a given that she should be working for the family that she married into.
But again, you said that it's a labor contract, right? Do you know the meaning of the words labor contract?
Huh? What do you mean?
If it's a labor contract, then of course that means that wages should be paid. Do you understand that? Those are words that you've spoken for many years now, aren't they? So surely you understand.
What? No. But it's not like there was any real contract that was signed or anything like that, so...
What? You haven't signed any contract between the two of you? Well then, in that case, that's already against Labor Law Article 15 and breaking the law. That can result in a fine punishable by up to $3,000.
What? Fine? Punishable?
If that's the situation, then that means that all of the hours that Michelle has worked since she got married means that they're all unpaid wages at this point. And unpaid wages can be collected within 3 years by law. So Michelle has the right to collect all of those wages from you.
What does that mean? No. It's a misunderstanding. So no, it wasn't a contract.
Oh dear. That's not what you've been saying earlier, though. You do realize that I've been recording this entire conversation, right? So this time, are you telling me that that was a false testimony? And plus, you over there, you're not free either. Perhaps this could fall under plotting an illegal marriage scam. It would be possible to prove that from the very beginning, you only saw Michelle as a labor force, and that your only intention of marrying her was not out of love, but to put her to work. What did you just say? What is that?
At that moment, I had never been more amazed by my little brother. He was seriously so cool. Thanks to the fact that my mother-in-law was nonchalantly using the word labor contract all the time, it actually completely gave us the upper hand in this situation.
Are you kidding me?
My mother-in-law started to go crazy with anger, and she started to throw a full-blown tantrum in our doorway. But the entire time, Jonathan remained calm and responded with logic and reason, and that was really entertaining to watch.
You idiot daughter-in-law! You're a useless piece of crap. You really got some nerve trying to go against me. Who do you think you are?
And that is an offense of contempt. That would result in detention or fine.
Shut up! Take that! Take that!
Ouch! And that's assault. That will result in a prison sentence of up to 2 years, or a fine punishable by up to $3,000.
Ugh!
Watching my mother-in-law and Kevin screaming and panicking like wild animals, and Jonathan responding to them calmly with logic and reason, was honestly like watching a comedy act live. However, that wasn't the end of it. My mother-in-law then started taking the most unbelievable action. She must have gone completely crazy and was no longer able to deal with reality. And to our disbelief, she stormed into our house and started setting fire to our family altar in the house.
This is all your fault for giving birth to a daughter-in-law like this! How dare you leave behind trash like this and die, leaving me with that garbage? You better burn in hell and take responsibility.
Mom, what are you doing? You're taking it too far! Stop!
What are you doing? That's our family altar. Jonathan, the police! Call the police! I immediately grabbed a bucket of water and was able to stop the fire, so it didn't turn into anything worse. But the way the two of them had gone so crazy at that moment was truly terrifying. Moments later, we heard the sirens and the police came running into the house, and my mother-in-law and Kevin were both taken in. After that, we took them to court, and all of the unpaid wages over the last year were quickly acknowledged by the jury, and the judge demanded that those wages be paid to me immediately. Since Jonathan had been recording the entire interaction at our house, my mother-in-law was also charged for contempt, assault towards Jonathan, and for lighting a fire to our family altar in the home, and she ended up being placed behind bars. I heard she's eating terrible food and in prison right now. As for Kevin, he was let go due to insufficient evidence against the marriage scam, but I heard it was hell for him after that. Upon his return home, without his mother as well, the incident with his mother spread throughout the town, and his clients terminated their contracts with him, and business instantly took a fall. Kevin really shouldn't have, but he ended up putting his hands on consumer finances and black market money to make ends meet. And I heard he ended up going bankrupt, carrying a massive amount of debt. According to the rumors I heard, apparently it was taken away by some scary-looking people, and they said that he might be sailing off in the wide ocean somewhere.
Hey, stop slacking and put some more effort into it!
Yes, sir.
How was today's video? If you enjoyed it, please subscribe, like, and leave a comment. Stay tuned for more.